He is acting chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
As we understand it, Rick Grinnell, on his way out, and the DNI office has declassified the content of those conversations between Michael Flynn and the Russian ambassador. Do you now believe they should be publicly released?
I think we're now at a point where I think not only will they be released, but other things will be released as well to put it all into context. And I mean, we've reached a point now where this has become such a part of the political narrative that you could argue that not releasing them would be more harmful than positive. So we'll see what happens. That's a difficult decision to make for people because you don't want these sorts of things to be constantly politicized, but that's the point we've reached now. And so I think we're going to see that and perhaps other things so that it's all seen within context.
Yeah, to your point of transparency, the president is saying this is worse than Watergate. You're now, in charge of the Senate Intel Committee, and we're supposed to be focused on surveilling foreign terrorists, not Americans. How do we fix this?
Well, look, it's important to understand FISA, okay? And the FISA and the process exists for the following reason, and that is there have been instances when a foreign power or a terrorist organization recruits an American to be a part of their work. And when that happens, there has to be a process by which we can surveil those people if they are part of a plot to harm the United States, be it a counterintelligence plot or a terrorism plot. The issue here is not that the process itself is problematic, but that it was abused. That individuals, for example, we now know that working at the FBI at the time, they omitted exculpatory information. They lied to the court. They left things out. They, in fact, doctored and altered material to present to the court. They misled the FISA court in order to get their hands on a warrant. And so the issue here is not the process, but the way the process was abused. All processes can be abused. And so the question is, can we do something to tighten and prevent those abuses? Because understand this, I mean, your local sheriff could go down to a judge and get a warrant to listen to somebody's phone calls today. And that could be abused as well. If there's a proper reason for it, yeah. Briefly, do you agree with the president, because I want to get onto the economy, that we should hold up the FISA bill in the House until we make the fixes you're talking about? Or do you want to get this FISA bill through and then deal with it later? Well, that's a different topic. That is whether FISA and the program, because it's so important, can be used as leverage to force certain reforms to prevent those abuses from occurring in the future. I personally don't like to see FISA used as leverage. I understand why legislators and the president and others would want to, because sometimes you use something that's valuable as leverage to get something you believe is important. But I also know that FISA is important for disrupting terrorist plots, for the potential that there's some American citizen who's been radicalized and is actively coordinating with a terrorist organization. We need to know what they're up to, and there has to be a process to get access to that, and I'd hate to see something like that shut down.
Finally, on the economy, you've been the leader on PPP, helping small businesses with the important funds they've been getting. Democrats say they're close to a deal with you and others on more money for PPP. Are you going to get that money, and do you think there'll be some tweaks? Because there's, as you know, small businesses that are saying some of them haven't gotten the money and they want to see some fixes.
Well, I'm not sure about the more money part of it. Right now, there's over $100 billion still remaining in PPP that are available to be lent. I think the issue now becomes businesses are saying, because of different stages of reopening and industry-specific needs, businesses are saying we need more than 8 weeks to spend this money. And that's something I agree upon. The House wants 24. We've proposed 16. Somewhere we'll figure that part of it out. But I think there's clearly a need for businesses to have more time to use their PPP money to rehire people because they're facing restrictions. The other thing I've said is that part of what we calculate as payroll should be the cost of protecting those workers, buying personal protective equipment and all the other things you're going to need, not just to meet local mandates, but also to be able to keep your employees safe. I think that should count as payroll as well. So those are the kinds of reforms I hope we can see here very soon. Okay, we'll be watching that. We'll be watching your state today. It's a big day with NASA and the launch. I know you're excited about it, and we're looking forward to watching your state today. Thank you, Senator, for coming on. Thank you.